You're in tune to episode 26 of the D&D Football Factory podcast. Actions of Malice in my palace, right? We had the podcast in place, but with some news earlier today, we've had to slightly alter what was on the agenda. We're still going to give you all that we was going to give you, but got the peeps with me, my two co-hosts, D-Man and Big Summer in the place.
Up, big up, big up. Good evening, man. How are we all doing?
And another resident, but in the last 12 months he's not been about as much because I'll say the last 12 months, but I'll say in the last 12 to 15 months this guy's basically been living in Qatar, mate. Yeah. Yeah, man was out there for the World Cup, yeah, with the FBJ journals, yeah. Journals and that FBJ's log. You get what I'm
international correspondent.
You get me, the international correspondent, and he's just gone back there for the Asia Cup, which I found out through Big Sam. You get what I'm saying? He's out there now. I think he's got a wife and kids out there. You get what I'm saying? I mean, FBJ in the building. What's good?
Do you know what is? Good evening, everyone. I sound like what's his name now? Unai Emery. But no, I was going out there. And I was like, do you know what? As I'm out there, I might as well catch a game. And I thought, I messaged Sam. I said, Sam.
It's work for some, innit?
I said, Sam, do you know what? Would this be any of use for the socials? Some of the sites and sounds. I thought, let me just send it to him, you know? We're international.
It's actually had some decent feedback. He's got something up on the YouTube for once. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, Big Sam slacking, yeah?
That's what I'm saying. Some decent you get me, some decent feedback, though. You get me? And the FBJ's crew that follow us are about on there saying, yeah, go on, FBJ, get in there. You know? And I know he's got a secret Insta as well, so he's seeing all this. He's trying to go like he doesn't know what we're talking about. You get what I'm saying?
No, it's the housewives who are tuning in. This is what I bring. They want to see their favorite.
Give the housewives what they want, yeah?
There you go. All
right, say no more.
If the housewives want it, you got to give them what they want. So there you go.
Say no more. Right, we were this pod when it was originally arranged was just going to be like us revisiting our pre-season predictions. But then once we've signed off on who was going to be on there, news broke in from Crystal Palace that the press conference had been cancelled because Roy Hodgson had been taken ill in training. But it looks like Robert Glasner, who was in charge of Frankfurt, he was in charge of Eintracht Frankfurt when they got to the semi-finals of the Europa League in 2019 when they lost to Chelsea on penalties, and then obviously Chelsea went on to win it against Arsenal. Good manager, plays good attacking football. It looks as though he has been appointed. Has Parish done Roy dirty here? D, we'll start with you because obviously you're the Palace season to get older. I tried to get some other ones on, or was it overdue? Because in the first place, right, last season, they axed Vieira after a hard set of games where there was a decent run of games coming, and then Hodgson got the points. It looked like, he saved them and done brilliantly. But is it a case where Vieira would be able to save them anyway? And but what is this long overdue? Or should they have just left it? They're not in charge of, in danger of being relegated. What's your thoughts on everything that's unfolding here? Because I don't know what's going on.
It's not a hard answer, but there's lots to it. Because was it long overdue? I'd say yeah. Based on the results that Palace were getting, based on the turgid football that they were playing, the fans weren't happy. I'm a neutral and I weren't happy at all. Like, I was disgusted going to Sellers Park and seeing what I was seeing, the basic football they were playing, the negative football they were playing. One would say the timing of it, it was expected, but with Roy falling ill, you know, this speculation that he's practically lost his job already, like, it doesn't, you know, it's not the best of timings, but looks like Palace were going to do it anyway. But like you said, they brought him in on the back of Vieira having results against some tough teams, and then they had a favourable run afterwards. And I personally believe that Vieira should have been given a longer run to try and prove himself. But the rumours were that he didn't get on with the board. They just wanted a reason to fire him anyway. The thing is, though, even with Roy going, if you speak to most Palace fans, it's not just the manager that they're unhappy with. It's from top to bottom. They want that Parish out, Parish and Bright. They want them gone. Yeah, they just think they're incompetent. They don't think they're up to the job. So I'm not sure if this new appointment will appease things, or is this just, you know, a band-aid over a huge cut, whatever it is, whatever the saying is. But he plays good football. He plays interesting football, better football than Roy Hodgson will play. But then, is it right for him to come in at this particular time with Palace in the doghouse? I don't think they're going to get relegated, but there is no guarantee. So is he the right manager to come in when they need a fighter to get them out who arguably knows the Premier League? Dare I say it, Allardyce or someone in that ilk, but on a temporary basis, and bring him in the summer where he's got time to acclimatise on that? Or, you know, are they looking at Brighton across the road, up the road, and thinking the De Zerbi effect, that kind of thing? And, you know, he's got the caliber of players to play attacking football and to get results pretty much straight away. But you look at it with Eze not regularly fit and Elise out for a couple months and that, I'm not sure. I mean, I'm interested to see what he could do with the style of playing that, because I don't want Palace to get relegated, because I've got my season ticket and I want them staying in the league and that. But going there every other week and seeing him just sit back and hope for the best and pumping it long to Mateta, who can't control a ball for love nor money. Like, without Eze and Elise, there's nothing. They've got nothing.
French lacking, isn't it?
Yeah, but Roy had to go eventually, and I'm not surprised that he's going imminently. But with him falling ill, they might have had a bit more compassion. But it is what it is. The game is the game, innit?
Do you think they'd already told him yesterday they were looking to replace him? And then do you think that it was what? I think we're 76 now. And
you said he pulled a sickie.
That's not even that, because I think he was at the training session. It happened in the training session. I didn't actually read all like the small print.
Oh, well, okay.
Because I think he was already at the training session. So
yeah.
And they were allowed him to get ready for this game week, and then showing him so they wouldn't disrupt things. And then maybe as some other boards do, let him take charge of the game. So he knew his fate beforehand, whether it was winning.
Yeah, I think the writing was on the wall. I think he already knew that, you know, he was going to go. I was surprised to see that, you know, with such a big game coming up against Everton, they'd allow him to have this one last game, because this is effectively a 6-pointer. So I don't see the benefit of letting him have this game if he knows he's going to go. Like, to me, that's a bit strange. But, you know, with it, what is it, Saturday? They play on Monday or something.
Monday,
yeah. So maybe it's not enough time to get him out, but then you've got a temporary manager that could come in, just do a job for one game and maybe lift it a little bit. But I don't know whether he's going to be in the dugout for this game. We don't know now. So, you know, we'll see.
Are you going?
It's away.
Is that if they played it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, when Mikalenko scored early, they played it 3 months ago. Yeah. I was thinking it's as well for some reason, but no, they had their cup game there first. Sammy?
Boy, it was inevitable, because D-Man is obviously him going first, but he's the best person to testify how terrible they've been in the last couple of months or so. I, like D-Man, also agree that Pat V could have been given more time. I was gutted that when he departed. I wanted him to stay. You know, it's one of those things where, yes, at the time, towards the end of his tenure, the results weren't great, but I would have liked to have seen him stay towards the end of the season to see if he could have turned it around. And I think, Dubs, you mentioned it. You know, I believe that he could have done that. With Hodgson now, he's come in, he's given the team a lift, and he stayed into this season. But I always felt that with Palace, it just wasn't that feel-good factor, that them playing well for a period. It's going to be for a period, and then they're going to revert back to what we know Palace to be, what we've known Palace to be for a few seasons now. Yeah, he had to go. He had to go, you know. And I don't know, with regards to Glasner, he's a good manager. Did a very good job of Eintracht Frankfurt, getting them to the final, winning the Europa League. Had some ballers in the team. Kamada was into. We waxed lyrical about that team.
Yeah.
Didn't do very good, I think, the second season, and then he left towards the end of the season, which was last year. But whether or not he can come in and turn things around, he doesn't have a short space of time. He still has maybe a number of months to play with. Actually, that is quite short, and it's also dependent on whether or not the players will take to him, take to his style of football, his philosophy. You know, so he does have a job on his hands. And then you have to look at the two players. Let's be honest, the two star players, Eze and Elise. Are they going to stay there after this season? You know, the feelers are out for Elise. You know, City and clubs from abroad want him. Eze, I don't think he will stay and go through another season like the season he's having. Plus, he's been blighted with injury as well. So, it's unfortunate because I do like Roy. Ray Lewington's going as well, but there has to be a change, and it's not just on the pitch, not just with the manager, but with the board as well. You know, Parish and Bright. A lot needs to, like a lot of clubs, there needs to be a lot of changes made. So, yeah, but we'll see what happens from here. Maybe I don't know if Glasner comes in and they start playing great football and they beat every team from now to the end of the season, and it forces D-Man to renew his season ticket. I don't know.
D, you got, obviously they lost, before I go to FBJ, obviously they lost 3-1 to Chelsea on Monday, but Munoz is got a big reputation as being an attacking right back. How did he look like watching him there in the stadium?
I thought he looked all right, you know. He didn't look out of place. He looked like he'd been playing for Palace for quite some time, to be honest. And that's what the Palace fans, they want, because listen, Ward has been a great servant for Palace, isn't it? But he has a nosebleed every time he passes the halfway line. So it was refreshing to see someone confident enough to push forward and to be brave on the ball. I think he's got a good future ahead of him. I think it was interesting to see Franca as well. He looked like on his day he can cause problems. He ran out of steam quite early on, and he is a bit lightweight. But I think give him the ball and he could be like the answer to Elise when he leaves, that kind of thing. He's got that sort of flair and excitement about him. But no, those two, they looked all right. They didn't look out of place at all. Probably looked, especially the right back, he looked one of Palace's better players on the night. I thought composed on the ball, knows how to put in a challenge, got energy about him. Yeah, he impressed me. I think of all the players, most of the Palace didn't play badly on Monday. Don't get me wrong, Chelsea are so average. They're so average, but Palace, it's the same thing with Palace, isn't it? Like there's no, without the two players, there's no creativity, there's no finishing touch. It's just a brave performance, isn't it? That's what it is. It's energy and effort without any class. You know what I mean? So Chelsea were better in the second half, and they were bound to get the goal that they deserved, didn't it? But Chelsea weren't amazing. They weren't amazing by a long stretch. But
how did Wharton look as well? Because Wharton, you looked like he was getting about in the midfield for them still.
Which one was Wharton?
The new signing.
Oh,
from Blackburn.
Yeah, no, he looked all right. He looked all right.
Put himself about.
Yeah, he looked quite physical with it. He was winning a few duels and that. But when you're alongside, who was it? Hughes and
Lerma.
Especially Hughes, man. Like he was the weak link in that midfield. But Wharton was putting himself about. I think he will be key if Palace will stay up, but he will play a big role in that, I think, because they need, especially with who's the one that's injured?
Yeah, Decore's got a long-term injury.
Yeah, especially with him gone for the rest of the season, he's going to be very important to their survival. And like I said, they'll be fine in it. Palace will be fine because there's so many teams below them that are so rubbish. But he's got a big role to play. I think in both the new signings, I think have got a big role to play. To be honest, but yeah, if they can just score some goals, it'll be a lot different. But is what it is, isn't it? Is what it is.
I hear you. Right, Jabroni. Do you think signing? Obviously, Wharton will give them a shield in midfield, but signings like Munoz at right back who will push forward. Do you think that signing was made basically in advance to a point where they already showed Roy they had a couple of weeks left, or do you think that this has been like an impromptu decision? Like what's going on down there?
I think you trace it back to, it might have been Big Sam who mentioned it. You trace it back to the whole Vieira leaving, or even further back when they let Roy go for a reason, and they wanted a different, style of football, quite drastic, and it got results. But the first hurdle that came under Vieira's tenure, and like Sam said, the results weren't great. I saw both sides where they really were struggling. But should he have gone? I could see why people say he should have stayed. I could see why people should have gone. But ultimately, you've let him go, and you've let Hodgson go because effectively you thought, we want a different style and he's of a certain vintage. Let's move on. Different dynamic for the club. To let Vieira go and bring Hodgson back, that for me is where the real issue is, in the fact that that's not a plan. Hodgson is highly credible, would have kept them safe, fine. And they kept them, well, I didn't think they were going to go down, but the result, they were dropping like a stone. And there's always a team who plummets, right, in these situations. But, okay, he's there for the, you've got you to the summer. What's the plan? And it just didn't seem like they had a plan. They've just meandering. So Hodgson, you know what you get with him. You let him go for a reason. Zaha's gone, who, by all accounts, and D-Man could, tell me if I'm right or wrong, but he was their outlet. Everything ran through him. They didn't do anything without him. He scored the goals. He was getting the penalties. He was getting the free kicks for them. It was him. They couldn't, So with him gone, and the starlets that they've got, they've been unfortunate with injuries. It's just shown Palace there was really no plan B. And we saw, the fans weren't happy after the Arsenal game at the signs and this, that, the other. And I feel Hodgson's taken publicly the brunt of the fans' anger, which I think the fans really are more angry with the board. That, yes, we are established in the Premier League. We're doing okay. I mean, it was a couple of years ago they got to the FA Cup semi-final. But where are we kicking on from here? So in the same way, to a degree, Wenger took a bit of the brunt for top four finishing and not moving on. I feel Hodgson's taken the brunt publicly for there's a lack of insight and forward thinking from the board. The signings that they've bought, again, not really sure what's the plan. Hodgson is now ill. There's various different reports, whether he was told and they just let him see it through, or that's what's made him ill, or whatever. But it's one where I don't think they'll go down. I think, like what D-Man said, there are worse teams below them, but it's more of a watershed moment for Palace as to what are you looking to do for the next 5 years. And it kind of feels like they're kind of trying to figure out this new guy. They're given a 2-year contract. 2 years, people could say, is that long enough? Don't know. It seems maybe you get an instant. The players will respond to him. There's always that new manager bounce. They'll respond to him, but it's hopeless until Palace and the people who run the club, what is your long-term plan, you know? And if you've decided to go a different direction and get these kind of players in, because the players, by and large, they played Hodgson way, and they've played a completely different way in Vieira's way. And for whatever reason, the board didn't really like it. Yes, you have grumbling from the fans, but the board didn't like it. So you've got...
But even, sorry to interrupt, and obviously D being at the home games, because he testified to it, when this season, it was mostly been abysmal, but when Hodgson first come in, obviously I know because of Eze being fit, but these men were balling. For the first few games that Hodgson came back in, I was like, what?
Yeah,
I couldn't believe that. But I don't know whether, as you're saying, shackles are off, whether it's a case where he just said, you know what, we need goals to stay up, to just go be free, and just gave everyone, like, put the rocket on them, and then obviously once stayed in division, because you could tell from early in the season, I can't remember who their very first game was against, but then they played Arsenal, didn't they? Or was Arsenal the first game?
Arsenal was the first game, yeah.
It was the first game of the season. You could see from that mistake, you could see what was going to come for the rest of the season, because after what they did to them, you know what I'm saying, previously at Selhurst. But so yeah, but as you say, don't think they were Jabbar. So yes, I don't know, as you're saying, FBJ, I don't know what happened from that start, then there with the football they're playing now to what like we're seeing now, putting men behind the ball and whatnot. It's one thing if you go and play out an attacking style and get beaten, then it's one thing. And sometimes people might applaud it because they might say you've gone for it. But then if you're going to sit back like that 5-1 against Arsenal, don't get twisted, for certain periods of the game, they defended actually quite well. And it was set pieces Arsenal getting the goals from. But then in the end, those late goals have just completely tarnished that. So you're sitting there and bar a couple of efforts, from Lerma and Eze, you're thinking you would have preferred if you went and took the game to them and got beaten like this, because you tried to sit back to nullify the threat, even though conceding 5 anyway.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. You know, they may have started that way, but when you look at it, actually, has their football really changed under Hodgson, both first term and second term? It's not. The key person was, I've just mentioned Zaha. He's not there. And the few guys that they do have from an attacking point of view, they're not present either. So Hodgson's always been pragmatic, or he leans more to the pragmatic side, certainly in his later stages of the managerial game. And I think it's just a testament where, look, that only carries you so far, but football now, and certainly in the Premier League, it's about being progressive and front foot, and you get found out eventually. So I think they've gotten found out, and it's just not a happy camp. Like I said, I think the players they brought in, they'll add and they'll help and they'll be safe, because I think they're worse teams. But it's a question of, right, what do they really want to do come summer and, you know, for the next couple of years? That's the key thing for me, from, you know, if looking at it from outside and what Palace are trying to do.
I hear you. Right, just to finish up, I don't know what you've heard from going to some of the games and whatnot, but there were rumours that, as you obviously said, some fans that you've spoken to are not happy with the whole board in general, but not happy with Parish, etc., that Vieira, in the first season, they were looking to get rid, but then he kept picking up points, accumulating points, and then obviously got them to the semi-final of the FA Cup, which FPJ and Sam mentioned earlier as well. Like, what the hell? If you've made that appointment, unless obviously he rumbling, he was difficult to work with. If you've made that appointment to change the style of football from Roy, and you're doing okay, then what could possibly have been the problem?
What do you mean with Vieira?
Yeah. In the first place, before Roy came,
I think they panicked, if I'm honest. I think there was rumours, I think, that he was a bit difficult to work with, and he wasn't happy with the squad that he had. I think he wanted to make additions, and you know they were not met. His requests were not met. So I think he became difficult. He voiced his opinion, shall we say? Okay. And I think there was some frustration on both ends there. And I think there was a bit of panic because they were in free fall. But then when you put it into perspective, they were playing teams where you didn't expect them to get the results only. But when you're in the Premier League and you want to stay in the Premier League, you don't want to let it drag on and get really dragged into the mud, into that dogfight, because it is so hard to get out of. And I know that as a Newcastle fan, like once you're in it, no matter who you're playing, it's hard to get out of. So I think they thought, right, let's nip it in the bud now. Yes, the football might be attractive, but it's not working. It's not working. So let's get someone in who's got the experience. And I don't think they intended to keep Roy on as long as they did, but they thought, get him to the end of the season, keep us up, and then we can, take stock and reevaluate our options. But the difference is, like I said, because Hodgson kept them up by playing good football, they couldn't just get rid of him then, because the fans wanted to stay, because they thought, oh, we're loving this football. We could continue playing this kind of football and compete, when really it was just a smoke screen, innit? Like Aleppo never changed his spots. So we know what kind of football you're going to get with Roy eventually. He just duped the Palace fans for a little bit because they were playing good football, like I said, because they needed the goals anyway. So it's kind of backfired on them. And let's be honest, this brother's, he's older than dirt, bro. Like, why is he still working? Like, put him out of his misery, send him off to retire, take your millions, and bro, he just looks clueless on that sideline. Like,
and it's not like he's just there and letting his coaches do it. You'll see him active in training, like picking balls and all that thing there. That's 76 now.
Exactly. You're coming up against young, energetic. Imagine you put him next to Klopp, and you see Klopp doing all this madness forever. You see the standing there like a dodo because he can't move. It's not fair.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, if you're having young managers packing it in after a certain period of time because of the demands in what football management is putting on them now, let alone a 76-year-old who
76.
It's do you know what I mean? It's not an easy,
bro.
Do you know what I mean? You've got press conference, you've got training, you've got to be scouting, you've got team talks, you've got match day, you've got the traveling, you've got all these kind of things. Everyone's always questioning you. I could only imagine as a 76-year-old, and fair play to him, he's got zest for life. But
how long do you think it takes that brother to get out of bed in the morning to come to training? Come on, man. If you're a young player and you're looking at this man trying to show you how to pop a ball, but no, allow it. It's not. Listen, it's not.
There's very few that have been able to do it over 70 anyway. Like even Trapattoni, I think for Bobby. Capello, I think, did it. It was still working in his 70s as well. So it's how old
was Fergie when he retired?
Fergie,
late 60s.
I think it was late 60s.
Fergie might even have been 70. You know, that was what 2013 after they won the league.
Yeah.
All right, and he's in his 80s now.
And he knew where to get.
Yeah, I knew it was in his early 70s. I had a feeling, he was in his early 70s when obviously when he hung it up. And to be honest, he could have gone on, but health-wise hasn't been the best since. So thankful that he's still here. You get me? Rival team or not? You get me?
He would have been. He would if he left 2013. That's 11 years ago. So he would have been 71.
Yeah,
71. And my man's 76.
I thought he'd retired once he did Palace. Obviously, it hadn't been officially announced, but I thought he just retired when it was done the first time. But then no one picked him up, and then obviously they brought him back. So talking of that, because we might as well address it because we've mentioned relegation a few times concerning Palace. Whether you remember the exact 3 that you predicted in late July or early August when we did that pre-season pod. Sam, what 3 teams are going down?
I said Luton to begin with, Burnley and Everton. Those were my picks, but I'm going to change that now. I think.
Hold on. You said Luton, Burnley, and Everton. You didn't say Sheffield United.
No, I didn't say Sheffield United. I don't think I said Sheffield United. I don't think I said it.
Oh.
Yeah,
you probably did.
That's changed now. That's changed now because it's going to be. I think Luton, they're fighting them. It's fighting them, and I think it will go down to the last day, I reckon, and I'm going to say that they will survive. I think that Burnley will definitely go down. Sheffield United will definitely go down, and I think Everton will go down.
Oh, it's a tricky one. I defo had Luton going down before the season started, but then as the season's gone on, I've been waxing lyrical about him. Saturday was a result I didn't see coming, but losing against Sheffield United. But yeah, what they lack in class, they make up for in just the determination, guile, pride, belief, and I think that's going to be just about enough for Luton to stay up. Barkley's been inspired. I had a feeling it would be when they got him in. They've got Andros Townsend as well, and they've got some decent young players, especially in defence. Doughty, and yeah, they've got a good mixture of ages in the squad. I think they'll be okay. Yeah, Sheffield United, yeah, Burnley. I think with Sheffield United, I still think what's his face will be in a job. Oh, his name's just left my head now. But Wilder, yeah, Chris Wilder. I think he'll still be in a job. Otherwise, I don't think they would have brought him in anyway if they didn't think he could navigate them back from the Championship if they were to go down. Yeah, Burnley. I don't think Company's job's in danger anyway. I think they'll look at it as that he's been brave and played the same type of football and never had the same players available to him, which is why you have to commend what Steve Cooper did for Nottingham Forest last season, because Burnley are in the situation that Forest were in last season, where when they came up for the Championship, they had a bag of players on loan from other clubs. So either those players were going to be taken back to their clubs or the highest bidder would be able to get them. So Company's come now. They never got Maatsen, for instance, after having him on loan in the Championship. He's at Dortmund now. So because they've not been able to get in some of the people that obviously he would have wanted, I think he's got in there. They still played some good football, but just at the back. Dee mentions it frequently on the show, just constant error. So I think they'll go. The third one's tricky. I think Daesh would be able to, even with the 10-point deduction, as long as the other one doesn't come in this season, to just about keep Everton up. But then that gives the question, who would be the other team to go down, which means because of the fitness issues with Eze and Elise, I'm really worried about Palace for that third spot, you know. I'm worried about them. Because if I said Luton are going to stay up, I have to pick somebody else, isn't it? You know what I'm saying?
It's hard. Because I think I said the three priority teams. I think I said Luton, Burnley, and Sheffield United.
Yeah, now, I think I agreed with you, if I remember.
Yeah. Let's be honest. Sheffield United, I keep saying it every week, but what time are they going to get relegated? Because they're done. They're out of there. But the thing is, they got the same amount of points as Burnley. Yeah. Burnley, yes, they've been brave with their football, but they've been naive with their football as well. And they've been making stupid mistakes late on in games. They're as good as down. It's the third spot. I think Everton will pull clear of it. I think Daesh has got that know-how. I think they've got too much quality in their team to go down. It's between, like I said, it's between Luton, Forest, and Palace. And I think Palace, Sellers Park on any day, they can get a result, and they're not bad away from home. I think I'm gonna stick with Luton. You know, I think Luton up. Yeah, I think they've done really well so far, and they've got some quality in their team. But I think Forest have got more quality in their team as well. I think Forest have got more quality across the pitch to keep them up once they sort of their home form. It'll be sad to see Luton go, even though they have, we failed to beat them this season. But I just, well, yeah, I'm gonna say so have you lot. So don't laugh, Big Sam. Yeah. But nah, I think it's gonna catch up with them eventually. You know, I'd love to see Everton go down. I'm not gonna lie. I'd love to see Everton go down. Yeah, but I just think they're just gonna get jammy with it. You know, I think they're just, yeah. I'm just gonna have to say Luton, unfortunately.
Luton, yeah. Jabroni, what are you saying?
For me, so 2 stories. When Everton stayed up, I think they got the required points against Bournemouth last game of the season.
Were you there, FBJ? Were you there?
I wasn't. No.
Yes.
But I was there at the playoff final. So I thought, right, whoever gets, I think Everton are done because they've just been hovering around relegation for a while, and eventually it's going to get them. But then when I saw who the 3 teams who eventually got promoted, I said, nah, it's going to be one of those where it's a revolving door. Thanks for coming. You're going back to the Championship. I haven't seen anything that would change my mind. And the funny thing is,
if there's anyone that hates yo-yo teams, it's you.
Oh, I can't stand it. But Luton have given a different flavour, so it's fine. The Burnleys and Sheffield Uniteds, get out of here. I can't stand it.
Just to let you know, Leicester have been ripping apart the Championship. Just in case you didn't know.
Leeds are second.
Leeds have just gone second. Yeah.
Yeah. Southampton. They won on
25. Uncle Gaz's team went on a 25-game unbeaten run. They lose, and now all their supporters are cussing. Like bro, I can't believe what I'm hearing. There's 25 games. They're saying someone rang in TalkSport, unless it's a fixed call, and said, "Man, you should be sacked."
Yeah, not happy. They're not happy. I'm like, wow. Uncle Gaz is cool. He's fine. I've not had a peep out of him, but yeah, I can't stand yo-yo clubs. But no, I think these 3 are gone. And the funny thing is, had Everton not have had the points deduction, they'd be sitting 13th. The same points with Fulham.
Yeah, because they got 10 points from 5 games just before they got deducted the 10 points. I was like, all that hard work has just been taken from you. They'd be fine. Last result of the game result, they would be absolutely fine. But
they'd be fine. So
getting finances in order then, isn't it?
Yeah. Again, assuming that there's no more further points deductions. Those are my 3 teams. And the way how I agree with the man, I think Forest, it comes to a stage where who's in the dugout, who can change tactically where we can get a draw or will be a nightmare to play at home. And Forest, Palace, and Everton have got that, where if they have to face the fellow relegation teams say for Everton, for example, Goodison Park, you'd fancy Everton will get a result there because it'll be hostile and they've got some good players. I don't see that with Sheffield United. When Sheffield United and Burnley, they are 7 points off Luton, who are 17th. So it means they'd have to win 3 games just to get out. They've won 3 games all season. I don't see them, doubling.
They're preparing for the Championship.
Yeah, that's it. They're gone. And Luton, again, I just think they're devoid of quality. So those 3 will go. But the more important thing is, again, the Evertons and the Forests, more so Everton, they keep hovering. Now, you're going to get better teams coming up. Leicester are coming up. I don't know what went wrong with them, but they lost their way. Southampton, we know on their day, they're a problem if they get promoted. And if it's Leeds, Ellen Road on its day, it's a hard place to go to. If Everton carry on with this trajectory, I don't think they'll be so lucky like they've been this season, where I think they'll stay up. I think eventually it will catch them, like a bit like Villa first time round. They just kept hovering. Eventually they went, and we didn't see them for a while. And I think Everton are in danger in the next couple of years if they don't start changing their ideas. They're going to get swallowed up.
Real G's bounce back from relegation, mate. Real G's. Yeah.
Right. And it's actually, exactly, Sam. It's great that you made that point because it's a perfect segue. Because again, something that materialized even a couple of hours after the Hodgson news was Wilson's injury. But before we even address that, because I know that you'll have a few things to say about the squad in general, Ashworth going to United, possibly going to United.
He's going.
What your thoughts on that, and then obviously I'll let you address the squad and do your Nas Ifa on what's going on at your club at the moment.
You know what, with Ashworth, like let's be honest, he's going. It's just a matter of Are we gonna allow him to go straight away, or are we gonna put him on garden leave?
Is it a case where they're going to be paying him more money, or what? Where's this even come from? You just got him from
all right.
Brighton.
Let's be honest. They're going to be paying him more money. Yeah, that's one thing. Yeah. Second of all, he's going to have more control over incomings and outgoings, isn't it? Yeah, and the structure of the club, because with Newcastle, as I understand it, like he started to transform the academy and put a few things in place and stuff. But when it comes to transfers and stuff and the scouting, he didn't have as much control as he wanted to. Whether it was Eddie Howe having more control than needed to be or whatnot, it just wasn't what to his liking. So Man United have offered him more control, more money, and let's be honest, he's working on a bigger budget. We're hamstrung by financial fair play, and with Man United, they with their sponsorships and whatnot, they can go out and buy a lot more. The pool is bigger in it, yeah. So the scope for the opportunity is bigger there. But my only problem is that, well, there's two things. First of all, he come out a few weeks ago, talk about how he loves the club, or he loves this project and he's excited for the future and all this nonsense, yeah. When you was leaving, yeah. Second of all, it's who do we get in to replace him? Because I have no issue with him going, because at the end of the day, if he's been the one that's got these players in, all right. Because Sky Sports tried to say he got Ramirez in. He was not even at the club when Bruno come in. Yeah, and even the Botman thing. We already went for Botman this season before. He practically promised he was going to join us in the summer, so he didn't really have nothing to do with that. Give him credit for Livramento, possibly Gordon. Isak was a panic buy because we also got injured, so we had to get someone in anyway. Yeah. He wanted to get Ekadike, that didn't go through, whatever. But the problem is who do we get in to replace him? Because I'm hearing that, all right, first it was this Michael Edwards brother, yeah, trying to coax him out of retire or whatever he's doing to come and join the club. I don't think that's going to happen. Then there's talk of the guy that's at Bournemouth, yeah. Now,
yeah, I heard that too.
Now, if that's the case, that's another one of Eddie Howe's mates, isn't it? Yeah, and I don't want Newcastle to become Bournemouth Part 2. Yeah, we're just
you don't want to be Love Island FC, though,
right? You get me? Love Island FC and a bunch of workhorses. Can he run? Is he physical? Okay, we'll sign him. Like, I don't want that. So it's just about who we get to replace him, and also if I'm Newcastle, I'm playing hardball with Manchester United, because not so long ago we wanted Jesse Lingard on loan, yeah, and they tried to charge us an £11 million loan fee or something stupid like that, and they moved the goalposts at the last minute. So if I'm Newcastle, I'm getting my revenge. Either if you want him now, you pay top dollar, yeah, and then some, or we stick him on a year's garden leave, yeah, and let them suffer, because don't make it easy for them. Do not make it easy for them, because he will go in there and he'll transform Manchester United amongst other people that go in there, because I know they want a few other people and that. So let's make it difficult for them. But I'm not bitter that he's leaving, because he can be replaced. But it's who do you get in to replace him?
Yeah,
because we fought tooth and nail for him in the first place.
Exactly, to get price away from Brighton, because when they said that it was done, I remember it didn't take like about 3 weeks or a month till like after they said
that 3 months garden
you were to get him,
3 to 6 months garden, like it was a madness. So end of the day, like, I trust the club, they know what they're doing, and you can't hold a man there if you don't want to be there. So I wish him well on that. And the Man United fans gloating, oh yeah, we've taken him, we stole him from you, blah blah. Oh, well, good luck in it, like, but it's just a case of who do we get in after that, yeah. And I don't want it to affect our summer business, where we don't want to buy these particular players because we still ain't got a technical director or sporting director. No. Get that sorted early, yeah. And I don't want to hear no excuses that we ain't got money to spend, yeah, or that we're waiting for the final decision before we get someone in. No. That can't run. Not again.
Are you not going to finish above Man United?
No. I'll tell you that for free. Man United finishing probably if they don't finish the top 4, they'll finish 5th. Yeah. It's between them and Spurs for the top four, the fourth and fifth. Really will fall off, and we will finish round about where we are now, 7th or 8th. Hopefully 7th, because if we finish 7th with everything that we've had to contend with injuries and whatnot, that would be a miracle. That would be a great season. But we're not going to finish higher than that. Nah, they'll finish above us.
Talking of injuries, it's like everyone's realizing where I'm gonna go. So they're like saying the word, just leaves perfect segues. This Wilson news, like I saw like on the timeline, because I restrict going on Twitter on certain days, but then so many people will send stuff to WhatsApp groups. I end up going on there, and I might have a little scroll afterwards. When I saw Wilson's name at first, I thought people were just having it on, because in the past people have said things about certain Liverpool players and then it turned out they've not been injured. But it wasn't until when obviously I messaged you Ben Dinnery's post about, I think, is it a pectoral injury or something like that, which is a random one. Like what
he was rested, man, at the end of the Forest game, trying to waste time and that, and he twists up himself. Now this is what listen, Callum Wilson is made of glass, innit? We know this, like, or paper, but I've said it before, Eddie Howe, innit? Every time we get an injury, he says we don't think it's serious. And people were laughing when I said, when he says that about Callum Wilson, expect at least 6 weeks out, at least, or we hope to have him back by next week, or we hope he's not too serious. 12 weeks this brother's out for. Have we even got 12 weeks left of the season? This brother has played his last game for Newcastle. I'm telling you that for free. Oh, wow. He's done it. And I like Callum Wilson. I think he's a baller. I think he's a great finisher. But he's 32. Injury prone. He has been ever since he's got here. When do we say enough is enough? Why did we go into this season without our first striker? And in January, 2 teams came in for Callum Wilson for decent money, and we said no, because we need 2 fit strikers. We can't even get 1 fit striker. So you might as well have just cashed in on him, because in the summer, when he's got 12 months left on his contract, you're not going to get nothing for him. You're not going to get nothing for him. So it's a shame, but it's not surprising. And like I said, when one comes back, the other one gets injured. Now they're both injured. We have no strikers. This is the worst season for injuries I can remember since I've been supporting Newcastle. It's horrendous, and you can't just keep blaming bad luck. Something is not right with the way we're training, and the medical staff, and it needs to be addressed. Because everyone seems to be getting an injury of some sort, and a long-term one at that. Willock, he's played 2 games all season, bro. And I think Tonali will be back before he is at this rate. Eddie Howe saying, we expected to play in February. He's not coming back in February. He ain't coming back all season. You got Nick Pope, unfortunately with the dislocated shoulder. How many dislocated shoulders have we had all season? I think there's 3. We've had back injuries, we've had groin injuries. It's just a nonsense, absolute nonsense. So the worst thing about it is I'm going to Newcastle on Saturday to see us play Bournemouth with no striker. With no striker. Come on.
Are we finally going to get Fabian Schär up front? Finally. I'm ready.
Someone needs to. This is absolute shambles.
Are you not linked to any strikers in the summer?
No, but we need to be, because now that has to be our priority now. Our priorities have to change. Priorities have to change now. Rather than a DM as a priority, we need a striker. Vlahovic. I don't care who it is. Someone who can stay fit, preferably. It's absolute nonsense. Absolute nonsense. So I don't think we'll see Callum Wilson in the Newcastle shirt ever again. It's unfortunate.
Newcastle, to be in this position, it's similar to what I was saying to my mate Ben, who's a West Ham fan, who did the review, end of season review. You can't be in a position, a club like Newcastle shouldn't be in a position like West Ham, where they have to rely on players who aren't associated with that position of striker. Like you put Jared Bowen there as a false 9. You know, I remember at one point it was Anthony Gordon was playing that position.
He will be up front on Saturday. Anthony Gordon's going to be up front on
Yeah.
Saturday.
They got no choice.
Yeah,
that's
got no
not
choice.
ideal. So I think this season is another. You know, you've learned a lot from this season, from being in Europe, how to manage the schedule, all the injuries, the Sandro Tonali situation. So this has just been a learning season for you guys. I'll say next season it cannot be like this season again.
It can't be like this, but will we learn? That's the question. Because I don't want to hear this. Oh, financial fair play. Yes, everyone is suffering for financial fair play. Yeah, but let's not forget in the summer we've got the Adidas sponsorship, we've got the seller sponsorship, and we've got the Champions League money hitting as well. So I don't hear no nonsense about financial fair play. You should have money now. Spend it, on a centre forward and a DM and a centre back and a goalkeeper. I want to see at least 4 bodies in coming in, and a right sided forward, because this Miguel Almeida will take it can't run for another season, bro. It can't.
He doesn't want to leave though. He's stopping the club from progressing.
Skinning tea. Of course he don't want to leave, bro. He's stealing a living out there, bro. Nah, come on, man. Come on. But yeah, we definitely need a striker, and as you know, and Isak, he's got a big season ahead of him next season, because he can't be this Callum Wilson syndrome and brought down every 6 games, bro. It's long. It's long. That can't continue as well. So yeah, something's got to give, bro. Something's got to give.
It's strange. I was going to chime in. I won't speak too long about it, but I saw on Sky Sports just yesterday, and I took note of it. Some of the selected signings down Ashworth was made. So obviously Isak, Tonali, Barnes. I forgot about him. I completely forgot about him
because of the injury.
Another injury prone one, but
he could go up top still, Harvey Barnes.
Do you know what I mean?
He'll break down again before the season's done.
And then they're referring to some of the players he bought when he was at Brighton, and listening to what you're saying, and obviously in terms of going into this season kind of short. I think it's even a bigger job from that regard, because obviously there needs to be a new sporting director, and obviously rather than maybe stockpiling in certain areas, which I think you have to attribute Dan Ashworth is part of that, stockpiling in certain areas where actually there's a better balance, you know.
Well, let's be honest, he signed Tonali and missed the fact that he was a gambling addict, didn't he?
This is it. I'm like, that's just negligence. I'm like, how is that happened? And you think, you know, I'll say you guys have more money than what we do at Liverpool, but when you look at some of the players that we've gone in for, and I was saying this to my friend who's a Spurs fan, and I've got another friend, Newcastle fan. These are the kind of players that I would expect you guys to be going for. The Sloboslies, the McAllister, 40 million. They
tried to go for.
They wanted Sloboslies, and the McAllister deal was done from way back when, which is why we got it for so cheap. If we started negotiating after the World Cup, we would have paid twice that money, mate.
But do you know what I mean? These are the kind of the guy. He was at Leicester. He's at Spurs now.
Maddison.
Yeah, 40 million.
But the thing though, the whole Maddison thing, we went in for Maddison in the January, I think it was, and Leicester refused it. Then he wanted to come to Newcastle, but then his agent fees and the fee that they were the wages and that were too high for us. We couldn't pay. We refused to pay them. So he's gone to Spurs. Soboslai, we didn't want to pay the release clause of 70 million.
Right.
So, you know, and he wouldn't have come to, if once Liverpool come in, he would have gone Liverpool anyway. But it's just like, you know, we were never in the race for that. Like, you know what I mean?
Okay.
But we're happy by financial fair play. We can't spend at the moment because of what we're our revenue in that. But like I said, come summer, that has to change because we've got so much more money coming in. So
that's certainly an area for the new sporting director to, you know, there's talent out there, just getting them through and getting the deals done early rather than, you know, it's a jungle out there. So yeah, you'll be fine if you get the right man.
Yeah, I hear that. Right, so to wrap up then, let's talk about who's going to win the league. I'll start with I'll start with Jabroni and Sam. Who is going to win it? Obviously, it's a free horse race now, with it. Actually, in terms of Newcastle, big up Bruno Guimaraes, because I can't say it on Saturday because you won't be there, because that was just, both his goals were classy. I love Dulot's I love Dulot's corner technique on his first goal. Switched it up a bit. Forrest respecting the ball, normal Trippier delivery into the centre of the box. But that second finish was just like, Darwin, were you watching? You knew when the ball was going before you opened up his body, and he still couldn't save it. Matt Sell still couldn't save it. Quality, man. But he's been very outspoken recently. The way Bruno.
Yeah, but I mean, the good thing is he's talking all the good talk about. He loves the place and he wants to stay and that. But at the same time, he say, frustration of we haven't performed to the level that we should have done and whatnot. Let's be honest, they need a lot more quality around him. But again, whether he stays in the summer, I don't know, because teams will come in for a minute. So I don't expect him to stay. But if he does, they need to bring more quality around him. I'm not talking about these workhorses, bruv. Like, you need quality, technical players that can match his ability, match his ambition as well. Yeah, but we'll see. I don't trust Eddie Howe's eye for talent, bruv. I don't. I think he just wants. We're talking about Philip Billing and who's the other one? Lloyd Kelly. Good, decent players.
Hey, Love Island FC. Ready. Get the mid-range
to the
in.
next level, isn't it? You can't, Bruno looking at these guys. Who are these guys, bro? Who are these guys? Like, come on. Like, Tonali will be a good thing. If you get a DM and you've got Tonali and Bruno in that midfield, fair enough. And you've got Joe Linton coming off or rotating, whatever, fair enough. But come on, man. Billing, he's good, but he's not going to take it to the next level. Bro. He's not. So, yeah, if you want to keep Bruno, then you've got to match his ambition, man. You have to.
Yeah. That's why, man, let Alman for go, but to sort out the P. But
it's not rocket science, bro.
But yeah, talking of the weekend's action title race, I want to know who you lot think, to wrap up the pod, who is going to win the title, because we obviously do it on the show, but this is like, we're doing this because of the fact you lot aren't in Saturday, and it's been too long without one. Arsenal slapped West Ham 6-0. To an extent, a statement, though. Obviously, West Ham are in the title race. It's a statement of sorts because Arsenal haven't been very good recently. But they had a good win over Liverpool, and then now this here, Liverpool beat Burnley 3-1. Weren't at their best, conceding, especially in the first half. Burnley were causing them problems, but they were clinical, got it done, and you've got to win games like that sometimes. Yeah. And City eventually broke down a very resolute Everton team who defended really, really, really well, but then great finish by Haaland and whatnot. But FBJ, who is going to win the league from those three out of City, Liverpool, and Arsenal? Well, I should say Liverpool, City, and Arsenal, because we're top, aren't we? But I just know they're just looming and sitting there waiting to pounce. Man City,
before I answer, so the game was the Liverpool Burnley game was running parallel with the Asia Cup final. So
yes, of course. I forgot you weren't in the country. Yeah, just like your best mate Big Sammy. Yeah, in Asia all the time.
I'm having to use my data roaming just to keep tabs on what's the score. And I'm like, what's going on? I think City. I mean, people are only just clocking on that. Oh, they're starting to purr. They purred once they won the World Club Cup, because they've won every single game since. I don't know how many, the winning streak. They've been there. They've done it.
According to Sam, they're going to drop off after that tournament. I told you.
I couldn't believe you said that. I'm like, what? Like we didn't. We won it, and we didn't win the league.
Well, if you reckon that, if you realise it, when we do the predictions, 9 times out of 10, Sam will have City to draw or lose. Yeah,
mad. It's wishful thinking, isn't it? It's
mad, man.
I think it's City. I just think they've been there, they've done it, and what solidified it for me was no shade, was the win against Newcastle, because for all intents and purposes, that looked like that was definitely not going to be a win. That was like, if anyone's going to hold them, it's going to be that game at that particular juncture. and De Bruyne came on and pretty much single-handedly won it for them. And it's like, oh no, here we go again. We've seen how this story ends. I think it's them. I think it's strange that if they win all their games, they win. But if Liverpool win all their games, they win the league too. So obviously it's zeroing in on that March 9th match at Anfield, Liverpool and Man City. But yeah, I just think Man City, the course, the distance, there's history, 4 in a row. No team has won 4 in a row.
Nope.
Certainly in the Premier League area. If it's in English league, I'm not sure. I don't think anyone has. They just have the quality. It pains me to say it, but yeah, I think it's them. In terms of order, I think Liverpool finished second. Arsenal, that would be the top 3. So, yeah.
Big Sammy, what you saying? Because I'm not sure how some of your predictions have gone. Villa have been beaten at home now look like fairies in the home games. What's that? 3 home defeats in a row in all competitions.
That's why I don't contribute to predictions league.
What's it? You've been twerking for Arsenal like you don't support Liverpool this season, but who is going to win the league?
It's gonna be City. It's gonna be City. I think what made up my mind for me was that De Bruyne always gets injured at a point round about the winter and comes back right after the new year. And the Brentford game, for him to come on and do what he did, I just said, boy, this is too familiar. This is too familiar, man. So, they just know who they are. And I always say to FBJ that every team has an identity. And if you were to give City an identity, they'll be assassins, man. They'll be killers. Because although they've been conceding goals this season, sometimes in games 2 goals, the odd goal. But regardless of that, they know how to get the job done. And even if you look at their Champions League game against Copenhagen did get a goal, but the way City finished them off, I was hoping for a banana skin there, and it just didn't happen. Same thing with Brentford, hoping for banana skin, just didn't happen. Same thing with Everton away. Yes, unanimously, the City are the favourites, but I was hoping for some sort of banana skin, almost, but it just didn't happen because Haaland's back, and he's got 2. And the way he dealt with Branthwaite for the second goal just shows.
Treated him like a little child, dashed him off like a little child.
Wanted him there. But it's going to be them. I mean, I would love us, but the Arsenal game just left a bad taste in my mouth. And, like D-Man's been saying about Konate and even to an extent Van Dijk, who I don't think has the Bozo gene, but Konate definitely does. I just don't like sometimes how we defend. And I can't trust that in the business end of the season. So I think we will do well to finish 2nd or 3rd, but City will take it again.
Fred, we're not coming below. We're not. Thank you. We're not coming lower than 3rd, mate. I mean,
who's finishing above you, lot, bro?
I'll stop doing this whole thing if we come lower than 3rd, mate. I mean, type of thing is this. I mean, that'll be one almighty collapse. I mean, we've shown even with the new midfield we're better than.
I just wanted to chime in as well, where to further Sam's point, there aren't enough teams who can take points off City when they face them, and the threats that are there, Liverpool being one, and Spurs, every other team who's a big fish, they've got to go to the Etihad. Liverpool and Spurs are the only teams where City have to go there. Apart from that, everyone's coming there, and it's like, I mean, they're playing Chelsea. You don't know what Chelsea you're going to get, but you know that they'll just do a professional. I hope I'm wrong, but they'll do a professional job. won't pair out of second or third gear, get the points right onto the next one, and that's it. The fixture list is just it's looking desperate for Arsenal and Liverpool in terms of hoping Man City would drop points, because you finish above them, you're winning. And I don't have enough confidence in either team where to rack off a 10-match winning streak, and that's what you need to do. I don't think Liverpool can do that. Maybe they can be unbeaten. Arsenal, maybe they can be unbeaten in that stretch. But Man City will win. So you need the W's. You need the W's. There's no point drawing or anything like that. You need the W's. And I think this season's teams, Arsenal, Liverpool, haven't got that yet to topple Man City.
I think it will. I think it will go down to the last one or two games for City to clinch it. Usually I think Liverpool will do it or whatever. Sometimes I tip Arsenal, but I think City will do it because, like Big Sam alluded to, like, first of all, De Bruyne had missed the first game of the season. He was out since the first game of the season, and I keep saying it every week. He is in his Zidane 2006 World Cup arc. Like, he's achieved everything. This is just a game to him now. Like, he's enjoying himself, and the shackles are off. So he's playing with such freedom because he knows he's better than every single player in this league. And he can do what he wants now, and he's shown it ever since he come. I think there might be one game or that when he hasn't got a goal.
What did you say? Are you saying KDB is better than Sean Longstaff?
It's just slightly. But,
just a tad now.
but I think every game he's got a goal or assist since he's come back. Or maybe bar one. But it's just absolute not. And also, Erling Haaland hasn't got started yet. And this is the scary thing. Once they start clicking into gear around about this time, it usually is a wrap. Now, you want to talk about the game at Anfield, possibly being the decider. City have never won at Anfield and won the league. The one time they beat Liverpool in Anfield, Liverpool won the league. So that's not a deciding factor. Like, City could lose this game and still win the league. Because they beat you
4-1.
They 4-1. If they won the league,
I say you lot won the.
No.
That game was when we had half our people injured. They absolutely
right, okay, my mistake.
They absolutely battered us.
But usually they don't need to win at Anfield. They don't need to win at Anfield to win the league. So it's like, it might be a confidence booster for Liverpool, but City can know it'll be a one-off game. Okay, scratch off. We never rarely have a good result at Anfield. We're still gonna crack on and do our thing, whatever. But Arsenal, because you said about City being not being as good defensively. I think Arsenal have been arguably the better of the three defensively, and what they've done is they've taken a lead from City and Liverpool's bookings that they played a certain way, pragmatic approach in the first half of the season, and now the shackles are off and they're going to start clapping teams, like going for teams. They beat you lot 3-1, they beat West Ham 6-0, whatever. They're going to start scoring a lot more goals and trying to put pressure on Liverpool and Man City. So I think they will go very close. Do they have the quality overall to go the distance? I'm not so sure, because if you look at Arsenal's bench and Liverpool's bench, they're both quite weak. Whereas you look at City's bench now that everyone's fit, it is absolutely it's frightening. You've got Grealish Grealish had an injury the other day, but usually Grealish, you've got Nunes, you've got who else? Gvardiol on there, you've got Rico Lewis, they've got options. Whereas sometimes even Doku on the bench as well at the same time, you know what I mean? It's just like, it's scary, and they're clicking into gear now, and they know what it takes to win. They know what it takes, and they've got I wouldn't be surprised if they do, because you look at the quality teams in the Champions League as well, they're better than all of them. So they've got the Champions League, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do the double. They do the double. I don't think they do the treble, but I wouldn't be surprised if they do the double. And a 4-peat, I keep telling man, if Pep does a 4-peat, to me, Pep is the greatest manager of all time anyway, overall. But I'm telling you, if he does a 4-peat, Fergie can't chat to him when it comes to the Premier League. I'm telling you, cannot chat to him.
It's like you read my mind, because I was actually going to ask you how many trophies. I was going to say it's a given you're going to say they're going to win the league, but I was going to ask you how many trophies you think they will get. So you've actually answered the question.
Yeah, they'll get 2. I don't think they'll get the treble. But if he does a 4-peat, not a single Fergie cheerleader can chat to me, bro. None. Yeah, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. But I think it's good that there's 3 teams in it at the moment. If City win it, second or third, I'm not so sure if it's going to be Liverpool or Arsenal in that order. I don't know. But the good thing for Liverpool is that Salah's back now. So that could be a huge factor. But I expect City to beat Spurs this time. And I expect them to not say expect, but they're good enough to get a point at Anfield. But again, they don't need to win. They don't need to win that to win the league, in my opinion. So it's City for me.
Yeah. I agree with most of what you said still. Only thing I probably would say in terms of the benches is that I hear you with Arsenal's one. And the thing is as well, he doesn't want to use certain people. Like they've been losing, and Smith Rowe's been sitting there. He's not brought him up. But I think our bench, because this is the thing, we've never really had everyone fit at the same time. But I think our bench is all right. And one thing I will say is the position that we're in. Well, that's when everyone is fit. That is, everyone is all right. Otherwise, yeah, there's definitely a clear lack of experience there with certain players. But the reason we are where we are is because of the substitutions that Klopp has been making. Because we've had so many first halves that have been, but then once kicks in second half, usually he'd wait to an hour. Klopp sometimes only taken about 5 minutes, and he's just like this one on, and mostly they've changed the game. Numerous people have contributed. Obviously, Nunes has done his thing when he's come off the bench, but the main person I think is contributing is Harvey Elliott. And it will be off of the bench, and it will be interested to see whether or not he will actually get a start against Brentford or not, because Curtis Jones always seems to get these niggles, get these knocks and that. As you said, Salah back, I think he'll be raring to go, looks happy, hopefully the fitness is in place. So could we do it? Yeah. Will we? I have to go with City. And I did say City before the start of the season, and now obviously, but this is why we do these things to go back. We said all the things that I said before the season are what you lot are coming into. Obviously, I'm pointing out now because Dee mentioned De Bruyne's injury before the season started. And I said from when, obviously, David Silva was there then, but in 18-19, they hit 100 points with De Bruyne missing half of the season. So I was always like, anyone listens to the radio show every week, I was like, Liverpool or Arsenal, whoever's top, need to be a minimum of 6 points clear, and that might not even be enough of City before De Bruyne comes back, and it hasn't happened. So I've got to go with them. But
how many trophies does Klopp end the season with?
This season, I'll put my positive hat on, because usually I can be a pessimist and I'll say he'll definitely get at least one, right?
You ain't losing to Chelsea in that final, that's for sure.
I'd love him to get 2. This is the thing, what Chelsea's going to turn up though. But I'd say, because City are still in FA, I'd say either League Cup or Europa League I expect us to get. And neither will be easy. But I hope he ends with at least 2, Klopp. But yeah, the players have got to seriously look at themselves after that performance against Arsenal. It was poor, but basically handed the game to them. But we've had a bit of a rest now. A couple of people coming back. Unfortunately, Thiago's got injured again. Water is wet. Hopefully we have a good end to the season. And if it is the case, City are winning it, just go and win it. I'm not in it going to the last day again and having that hope and having my heart broken for the 3rd time. I mean, but then again, if it was to happen, what did they say? 3rd time's a charm, 3rd time's lucky and all that. So maybe 3rd time lucky and that. So maybe we'll be able to get it this time. But I'm going with City, but I'm hoping, head saying City, but my heart saying that we can pull through and continue to be ahead of this renaissance, call it Project Restart or whatever you want to call it, changing up the midfield, etc., and integrating some of the younger players. So boy, so yeah, man. So yeah, so that's
Before we
pretty much
wrap
probably
up,
that.
I'm going to
Yeah,
ask
go
a B-man's question. Even though I said City, damn it, we're going for we're winning all four. You've heard it. We're winning
Levels, energy,
all four. Boom.
energy.
Why not? You know what? If you
Energy.
speak
Hey,
it into existence.
bro, I bought a pound on it before the season started. So if it happens, then boy,
You're not
Speak it
winning
into
all four,
existence.
bro.
Why
Boy.
not?
Good for you.
We've beaten City before in the FA Cup.
Yeah, we'll beat you in the FA Cup final. Newcastle beating the FA Cup final, man. Don't worry about that. Yeah.
That's the only team I would. If we go out, that's the only team I don't mind winning it. To be honest,
Yeah,
We ain't winning that rubbish. We ain't winning a
Newcastle,
trophy.
you get what I'm saying? But yeah, the players will. It's all going to depend on Isak's fitness, isn't it? But yeah. Anyone else got anything to add, or we'll leave it there.
But before I got a question because we spoke about De Bruyne and his quality, and obviously this week Carragher came out and said that he's the best midfielder, well, certainly the best overseas midfielder in the Premier League. But given his standing, he's being indexed to the great debate with Scholes, Lampard, and Gerrard. Where is De Bruyne in the conversation amongst Premier League midfielders and just the player as full stop?
Top. He's a past Gerrard, in my opinion. It was always Gerrard for me. It was Gerrard for me, but De Bruyne is different gravy, bro. He's different.
He's behind Gerrard.
No, he's not.
Behind Gerrard.
He's top.
I mean, personally, I've got him second. I've got my three centre mids: Gerrard, De Bruyne, Vieira, and I was a David Silva guy, but I've had to I've had to give it to KDB.
And Scholes don't go nowhere near. Get Scholes out of here. I don't care.
Scholes is great, but Scholes is higher up than Lampard. Lampard ain't even in the top
both
five.
Scholes and Lampard, get them out of here.
Lamp's ain't even in my top five. But yeah, now the point is amazing. But I'll go with Stevie G. That's a separate pod. I'm not going to go into it here, otherwise we'll be here for another hour, because of just the fact that some of the midfielders that he's played compared to KDB just absolutely just drag. I say midfields, the whole 11s in general, like apart from when Stevie had especially Alonso and Mascherano with him, Gerrard, like madness, just dragged the team by the scruff of the neck, man. Just an amazing footballer, man.
Cool.
What are you saying, Sammy?
Yeah, Gerrard before KDB. I think KDB has to think that he was at Chelsea and Mourinho didn't utilize him enough. Then he went to Wolfsburg, came back, and he was just a different player. And he's been fantastic, you know. But Stevie, for me, and Gordon Strachan said it once. He used the boxing term. He said that pound for pound, Gerrard is probably at the time when he was playing, probably the best player in the league, because the guy could play anywhere, literally anywhere, you know. And there was even a game where England played Argentina, right? And this was at the height of I've told this story before, this was at the height of the Lampard-Gerrard debate, yeah? Sven shifted Gerrard in 3 different positions, and Gerrard excelled in all 3 positions, right? It was in the middle of the park, he played left wing, and he played right back. Lampard came off after a while. But Stevie is just, and like Dub says, Stevie is just drag games. I mean, the Arsenal Champions League game where we end up winning 4-2 on the aggregate afterwards. The first game, Stevie had to move heaven and earth to get that goal. And he's just, he's an icon. He's an icon. But so is KDB. And he's up there. So ratings to both, but Stevie tops it.
I think Jabroni was just talking mainly in terms of Champions League stuff, because even that KDB in Champions League at the moment, I think he's 10 in the last couple of seasons, 10 goals in the knockout stage, which is insane when he's not even a striker. But yeah, amazing footballer. Joy to watch him.
Yeah, cool.
So what do you think there then? Thank you guys. Episode 26. What's it? Actions of Malice in My Palace, yeah? The famous Jazzo lyric from Jay-Z's Bring It On, you know. But yes, that's it for episode 26. Usually our usual slot, which is why you don't get the podcasts always get them frequently. Our usual slot on Top FM on a Saturday morning, 10 a.m. to midday with the Footy on Top show. Right, should be having E-Man in this weekend for the show as Big Sam and D-Man aren't about. So I had to sort that together. So it was a must. It was imperative that we got at least a podcast done so you lot can hear from them this week as well. But otherwise, everyone else, apart from Jaboni, because he hasn't got it, give your socials and that's it.
On Twitter, Sam the Man Who Twitter. On Instagram, Sam the Man Who Can, all one word. On Twitter, now X, at Big Sam A79.
My socials, Il Phenomenal 25, Phenomenal with an F. You can't spell it, you can't follow me. So there you go.
And I'm Double D on all platforms. That's DUBULDEE. Obviously, well, some probably see it on the screen anyway. But yeah, at Double D on all platforms and our socials. Well, for the pod, so anything in regards to this, in relation to this, our pod page is at DD Footy Pod. That's at DD Footy Pod, and the page for the radio show and everything else is at DD Footy Factory _ Right, that's at DD Footy Factory _ But yeah, our main slot, if you can, best to use the TuneIn app, Simple Radio app, or whatever. Obviously, you can listen to it in your car. 95.5 FM. That's on Top FM every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. till midday with the Footy on Top show from the D&D Football Factory. But yeah, for episode 26, Actions of Malice in my Palace, we are out. Thank you very much, people.